This week in movies, we return to our popular summer format of one big flick, one small flick.
Nice.
Starting off,
two flicks.
The tale of two
starting off, Public Enemies in the Hurt Locker. We're going to start off with Public Enemies. So, Public Enemies is from director Michael Mann, who's regarded as the king of the cops and robbers movie. He created Miami Vice and later did the movie. Did movies like Thief and Manhunter and
Heat.
Collateral, and then later went on, and then also made Heat, which has what's widely known as one of the greatest bank robbery sequences ever filmed. Well, he decides to make Public Enemies about one of the greatest known bank robbers.
Yeah.
He's also no stranger to period films with Last of the Mohicans and The Insider. So Public Enemies stars Johnny Depp as John Dillinger, and it's basically what The Untouchables was for Elliot Ness and Al Capone. This is for John Dillinger and I guess Melvin Purvis, who's played by Christian Bale.
And Babyface Nelson and a couple different...
The whole gang of those dudes that we've only heard of before. So, also, as with the last crop of last 3 or 4 Michael Mann flicks, it's shot on video, and I'm sure Alex will have opinions on that, and maybe Jeff will this time, I don't know. Maybe. Jeff, what did you think?
Of Public Enemies,
of Hurt Locker.
Switch! Switch! That was the old Dan Switch.
The old Dan flippity-doo. I liked Public Enemies for the most part. I don't think it's the film that Heat is, which I'm a huge fan of Heat, and I know Alex is not, but I think Heat
Alex is a fan of Heat, he just didn't like that scene as much as everyone else, right?
I thought you didn't like Heat at all.
Yeah, no, I like it. He was all right. It was okay. I didn't love it.
I think Heat's a fantastic movie, and it does that follow the good guy, follow the bad guy. Inevitably, they, cross paths. And which this movie is attempting to do also. And I just don't think it succeeds in the same way. Johnny Depp is just such a charismatic leading man, and every time he's on screen, it is riveting and fascinating to watch him work. I also thought the woman whose name escapes me now, the female
Marie Cotillard,
who won the Academy Award. She's great too. There's not enough of her, and I wish the last section of the film is much more a love story than the rest of the movie, and I think it really worked, and I don't think it built up to that as well as it could have. I liked the end of this movie much more than the lead up, because it really isn't a biopic. We don't really learn a lot about John Dillinger or Melvin Purvis, for example. And, spoiler alert, but, they have that thing at the end where they say what happened after the movie ends, and you find out that he committed suicide, and it's like, whoa, we didn't even get a hint of any conflict in this guy that would lead to that. So it's a shame that I don't feel like I learned about these people as much as I would have liked, but the ride was pretty cool.
So this movie was shot on the Sony F23 camera. And some of the internal scenes that wouldn't
The ones inside the body?
The ones that were inside the body, which were very new.
You're a doctor.
He's a specialist.
Some of the internal scenes that they couldn't were actually shot on the Sony EX1, which is the predecessor of the camera that I'm using right now.
And some sequences are shot on film. There's a variety of different cameras used.
I didn't read anything about them shooting any on film, which is interesting because So here's the thing. Movie's okay. Movie's okay. As a movie, as a story, it was okay. I kind of agree with Jeff. It really wasn't a biopic. Not much, really, all that stuff happened, and the gunfights were sort of cool. There wasn't actually a lot of bank robbing in a movie that's ostensibly about bank robbing, shot by the guy who shot the possibly best bank robbing scene ever.
And the robbers are kind of boring.
They're a little boring.
There's not much that happens.
So I've been on record with some Michael Mann stuff in the past about not liking, and also some Mel Gibson stuff like Apocalypto I had a really big problem with, of the shooting films that I think scream for being shot on film, being shot on digital. And I think I came down to why in my opinion, it works in movies like Collateral and doesn't work in movies like Public Enemy, which is Collateral, for me personally, and it's all a personal preference thing, I feel like the story makes sense being shown in this way. And it doesn't ever feel like the cinematographer and the director are fighting against that choice. In this movie, I really felt like they said, we're going to shoot this on video, it's going to be real doco style, handheld, but then they fought against it so much because there are some shots that are like these great locked off, beautiful shots that don't really make sense in the world that you are going to be dirty handheld video guy. And I felt like there were times in the middle of scenes where you would see the camera just jerk for no reason, almost like the cinematographer was going, oh, this is, oh shit, this is handheld. See? Look how handheld. So it really was distracting. And the stuff where action happens, like one of the big end gun battles, to me was unwatchable. It was just unwatchable. It was like, this is stupid. It looks like the TVs that you see that have the like 120 motion, cinema motion, and it goes, oh, that looks stupid, I'm gonna turn that off. That's what these movies look like.
The shutter is what they're, yeah, is why that.
It might be.
The motion feels that way.
Yeah, so for me, it takes me out of it, but minus that, I thought the movie was just sort of okay anyway.
It still doesn't bother me.
You know,
it bothers some people.
I would say, I thought I was gonna hate the video, and it's actually I kind of grew to like it. I think.
What do you think of the movie?
I want to say about the video that I did actually grow to like it and see why the choice was made to be shot on video. I kind of felt like how cool it is that we get to see this time period shot in such a naturalistic documentary style. And on video, there was a realism brought to it and immediacy brought to it that we haven't had before. On the flip side, there were sequences that the video was very distancing because it felt like I'm watching the behind the scenes of how the action scene was shot,
that's a good
rather than the actual scene itself. Yeah. So I don't think he's clocked into. Personally, I think Michael Mann is really loves what the video is able to capture. There's the sky, the depth of field of the characters, and the relationship to the sky and the way that sky looks on video, and time of day, and which was why I use it on Collateral, because the marine layer in LA can only be seen on video. It can't be captured on film. I think that is what he's after, rather than the way it makes someone watching it feel. So I think he's after the image and the quality of that image as opposed to the feeling that it provokes. Moving up.
Do you like that? I mean, do you like that about it?
I liked it in Collateral. I liked it in some other films shot on video. I liked it in sequences shot here. But I did it often it was very distracting.
So what did you think of the movie overall then?
The movie, I really was very meh on. Actually siding on not liking. Like you guys, in mentioning it's not a biopic, regardless of it being a biopic, I just couldn't glean anything from the characters.
Yeah.
I got nothing from Johnny Depp or Christian Bale. I got, thematically and story-wise, this has nothing, I found nothing in this movie that I had not already seen in other movies, including those in Michael Mann's filmography. Yeah. Ultimately, I could not describe to you the character of John Dillinger or the character of Melvin Purvis.
Well, the other thing is there's so many,
they are as people, I have no idea.
There's so many other people that are in this movie that I didn't know until it's like Stephen Dorff is in this movie. Channing Tatum's in this movie. I had no freaking idea.
That's because he's Michael Mann and he can cast big names in bit parts.
No, but those weren't bit parts. That was Babyface, not Babyface Nelson. That was Pretty Boy Floyd. But those are people, and Homer. Those are people that were there to the end that you saw in almost every scene, and you had no freaking idea.
Channing Tatum died in 2 seconds, but yeah.
Say what?
He died.
Oh, he was the running guy.
Yeah, the blue guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so mixed reviews on Public Enemies. Moving on.